Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to slice the subscribe button, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, seeing Fran run off alone, Donadrond and a dwarf begin carving their way through the goblin swarm, using Fran's courageous acts as inspiration to catch up and not let her take all the glory. Back with Fran, we see her swiftly running deeper and deeper into the cave, all whilst our MC advises Fran to be more cautious in here than when she fought the goblins out in the forest. Easing Fran a bit, our MC states that in the worst-case scenario, they can easily use an expensive feather item they've purchased recently to instantly teleport to safety, but nonetheless, our MC loves how courageous Fran is. Running into some goblins, our MC splits his mind, beginning to instruct Fran on who to kill and who to leave for Donadrond and the adventurers. Spotting two stronger ones, Fran severs their bodies, allowing our MC to absorb their crystal cores, whilst catching their corpses, to leave no mess behind. Leaving 3 for the others, Fran continues to evade and slay goblins as she dives deeper and deeper, to a point where our MC is able to point out how good Fran has become collecting the goblins' crystal cores. Happy that our MC praised her, Fran is forced to refocus, prioritizing the incoming goblins, whilst leaving the rest. Suddenly, Fran's path is thwarted by tens of goblins, with all the skills our MC already have. With no other choice, our MC steps up, splitting his mind, in order to cast 2 simultaneous fire javelin spells. Conjuring multiple fire projectiles, that on impact explode and take out the goblins blocking Fran. Praising our MC notes that he had tried to teach Fran this once but failed, but deduces that since he does not have a human brain, he's able to surpass what is humanly possible. Having reached a tunnel, leading down the cave, they realize that they've almost reached the 2nd floor, where the boss most likely will be residing. Using various skills to locate incoming goblins, our MC spots 2 hobgoblins, which Fran scares away, tailing them to where the dungeon master could be. Now with Fran and our MC sensing a strange aura emanating from one of the cave's entrances, they both brace for what is to come. Cutting to Donadrond and the adventurers, they all continue to chase after Fran, noting how she had left them a decent amount of goblins to keep them distracted, but is still quite little, compared to what they were expecting. As the dwarf wonders what this Fran girl is, Donadrond states that Fran has a mastery of 7, making her a master and a high-tier adventurer for her age. Hoping that she does not overestimate her own abilities, they continue after Fran. Back with Fran, we see her perched above the entrance, able to spot the Goblin King and Queen. Reminded of when he had slayed a Goblin King, our MC notes that when the king is endangered, most of his underlings swarm around him, making it hard for Fran to engage immediately. Instead, our MC will bombard them with spells, allowing Fran to take out the king and queen, whilst they try to recover. Splitting his mind once again, our MC lights up the king and queen, allowing Fran to close in, but when the smoke clears, Fran is saddened to see our MC's fire spell wipe out not only the weaker goblins, but the king and queen too. With the remaining goblins fleeing, Fran wonders what else is there to do, but our MC says they should focus on slaying the dungeon master next, as they make their way through a mysterious door. As Fran happily trots through the gate, the door suddenly closes Fran in, forcing her to begin watching for danger. With different specks of light suddenly illuminating the room, our MC realizes that they are being attacked by hundreds of bugs, but they are quite low class. Using his telekinesis to hold the bugs still, our MC instructs Fran to slaughter all of them, treating them as bonus bugs, meant to easily increase her stats. With several minutes passing, our MC realizes that there are still too many, noticing that a bug leader is continuously spawning them, explaining the endless swarm. With our MC shooting spells to displace the leader, Fran follows up, severing the boss and ending the battle. Having acquired new skills and items from the swarm, the two suddenly notice another door, with a powerful presence behind it. Comparing the aura to creatures he's slayed, our MC notes that the aura may be greater than the rank C slime he faced in the forest. Realizing it would be best to prepare, our MC begins buffing Fran, giving her increased resistance, increased physical abilities, increased reaction speed, increased healing, and best of all, promises to make Fran curry, as long as she's able to make it out of this fight alive. Cautiously entering, Fran greets a mysterious creature, waiting all this time for our duo's arrival. With our MC scanning the floating creature, He realizes that they are looking at a greater demon, creatures that are at least rank B, able to take out an entire kingdom by themselves, with this one in particular having a skill steal ability. Believing Fran to be just a weak human, the demon gives Fran props for being able to make it all the way to it, but suddenly the dungeon master appears. Being a goblin that can talk, the dungeon master insults Fran, stating that their plan was to invade the kingdom, but since their goblin king is gone, they will have to resummon another one, using the dungeon cores as sustenance. As the demon silences the dungeon master, the demon brings out its blade, charging at Fran, who places 500 mana into our MC. Realizing that the demon has a similar mana conductivity skill, our MC realizes that the demon's blade would have cut right through him. As Fran and the demon clash swords, Fran uses a spell to disarm the demon, lunging at him, but the demon smirks, having returned his blade to his hand with a unique skill, only to smash Fran into the ground. Praising Fran's sword skills, the demon suddenly disappears, reappearing behind Fran, cutting off her hands. Seeing Fran in a moment of shock, our MC immediately dashes to Fran's side, casting a firewall to scare away the demon, as he reattaches Fran's hands. Apologizing for not reacting fast enough, Fran stares down the demon, as the demon wonders what type of skill Fran is using to navigate her sword so well. Disappearing, the demon begins playing mind games, slashing and disappearing suddenly. As Fran fends of the attacks, our MC figures out that the demon is using Fran's shadow. Ordering Fran to jump, she slashes the air, infusing it with poison, which is able to scratch the demon. Using this opening, the demon retaliates, shooting a spell of his own. Having dodged the demon's projectile, Fran realizes that the poison has little to no effect on the demon. Realizing that this boss may be too hard for Fran, our MC instructs Fran to leave with the feather item, but Fran refuses, wanting to grow stronger, and taste our MC's curry dish. As Fran charges the demon, she's able to evenly trade blows, but the demon suddenly uses his skill steal ability, stating that he has now taken Fran's sword ability, making him far stronger than Fran. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and comment.